oh my god, she's gonna kill me, she's gonna kick me out. Like it's not gonna be good.
Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel, Simply Kee Samone. If you are new here, I want to say welcome, and if you're returning, I want to say welcome back. Here on my channel, I make videos all about love, locks, and lifestyle, and as you can tell by the title and my t-shirts, you know, you already know, happy Pride Month. It is officially June. It's officially the month of Pride, and we are celebrating the LGBTQ plus community, okay? And I am going to be sharing with you all my coming out story today. Before we hop into the video, do not forget to give it a big thumbs up. Do not forget to leave me a comment down below, and also hit that subscribe button. Turn on your post bell notifications so that you'll be updated every time I post a new video. And also do not forget to follow me on Instagram at _Kee Samone. That is where I, you know, post day-to-day things. So if you want to know what I'm doing when I'm not posting on YouTube, go ahead and head over to my Instagram. And yes, if you are interested, just keep on watching. Okay, so first and foremost, before we get started into this story time, I just want to say thank you so much for 3K. I'm elated. We literally hit 3K yesterday, y'all. When I tell you that I had like almost a full circle moment, granted I am, you know, a smaller YouTuber, micro influencer, whatever you want to call, you know, the smaller channels here on YouTube, but I am just I'm very big on celebrating every single win, you know, the little wins, the big wins. To me, it's a big win because if, you know, there were 3,000 people sitting here right now listening to me, you know, tell this story, you know, that's a lot of people. Of course, on the internet, 3K doesn't seem, you know, like the number is like, it don't seem like a big number. But if you put it into perspective of 3,000 people choosing to sit and listen to you speak about something or just watch you doing anything, like that's a big deal, okay? That is a big deal. Same way I felt at 100, same way I felt at 3K, okay? So thank you so much for that. Okay, so I'm not going to hold y'all for too long. I'm just gonna go ahead and hop into the story time. Quick disclaimer, okay? If you are homophobic in any way, you do not like the LGBTQ plus community, or you were not aware that I am a part of that community, I just need you to click off the video right now. There will be no hate, there will be all love in the comments, and if there is anything negative, you gonna get the boot, baby, okay? Starting off at the story, I do wanna start off like in childhood because honestly, I feel like anyone, you know, who identifies as gay, lesbian, you know, bisexual, transgender, anything of the sort, pansexual, you know, there's plenty of titles and labels, but for anyone who, you know, classifies themselves within this community, it all starts in childhood. I know a lot of people, it's very controversial when people say, you know, I knew when I was a child. But it's true. And I know a lot of people's like parents, you know, when they are kids, they're like, you know, there's no way that you can know. There's no way that you could, you know that when you're a child. But I promise you, you do. When you're a child, let's say, you know, for a straight woman, when you're a child, you know, when you're in elementary school, you're like, ooh, that boy is cute, or ooh, I want a boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? So why is it so different for a child that is, you know, a female who might be lesbian or bisexual and be like, dang, you know, I want a girlfriend, or I'm attracted to this girl? I feel like it's the same thing. So anytime I hear people saying, oh, you know, somebody is too young to know what they like, I feel like it's BS, okay? Now, that's not to say that won't change and evolve over time as you grow up, you know, as you learn yourself and you get to a place in your life where you know what you want, know what you like, know what you desire. That can change and evolve over time. But I do feel like as a child that you can know because I myself knew, okay? So we are just going to go back, I guess, to elementary school because just to caveat off of what I was saying, I did know and did have feelings for, you know, my female friends, and you know, not in a sexual way, but I knew that I liked my friends more than just friends. And I'm not saying all my friends, because by no means does being gay, lesbian, bisexual, what have you, mean that you just like everybody. It's just the people that I, you know, maybe like their personality or like their friendship, it was a little bit more than what you would like, you know, just your regular homegirl, like, you know, whatever. So that's what I mean. So don't get weirded out by what I'm saying. I hope that makes sense of what I'm saying. But I knew that there was an attraction to other females that I knew that felt different. You know what I'm saying? It felt like, I don't know, like you just my special friend. Like I really like you. I really, you heavy. You my friend, okay? And going into elementary school, middle school, you know, always had those feelings. And so I just sat on it, really, because at that time, it definitely is not like it is now in 2022. Granted, there is still, you know, sexual preference prejudices and, you know, identity prejudices, but, you know, back in like the early 2000s, that was very, very taboo, very taboo to, you know, come out as gay or lesbian or bisexual, what have you. And to be a child and feel that way in those times, it's like, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut, basically. Especially growing up in a Black household. If you are Black, African American, you know, back in the times when millennials were growing up, I'm not talking about Gen Z, I'm talking about millennials, okay? I'm talking about the early 90s babies. You knew at that time that was not okay. Like if you were born 95 and before, you know that that's a no, okay? It was a no. I'm gonna say actually even 96 and before, it was a no. So it was feelings that I had and feelings that I knew and things that I thought about and things that I pondered on and things that I maybe spoke in secret to other friends when I was young, you know, just talking about it or mentioning certain things about it. But ultimately, I never told anyone, never said anything, because like I said, at the time, that was a no-no. And I knew that I didn't want that uncomfortableness. Like it was already uncomfortable for me thinking about it and knowing in my mind, knowing and thinking in my mind at that time that, you know, this was something that was wrong and this was something that I was not supposed to be thinking about. It was something that I wasn't supposed to be feeling. So I just left it bottled up. I did have secret girl crushes, you know, growing up as a kid and as a teenager and things like that. And I had talked to girls romantically, like as a teenager, on the low, okay? On the low. So that is just a back brief of when I was a child. Definitely have had experiences kissing girls. My first kiss was a girl. I honestly do not remember how old I was. I was in between the ages of like maybe 12 and 14, I would say. I'm not sure which age it was, but it was in there. Now, I did have boyfriends. I've had multiple boyfriends, you know, through middle school and high school, because I mean, that's the cover up. Like but I mean, I'm not saying that I didn't like these boys, but in the end, it's just the safer route to go. Well, for me, in my mind, it was the safest route to go. You know, I didn't want to be picked on. I didn't want to be, you know, ostracized. It wasn't that many, you know, teenagers that were out and open or anything like that. So, I just, you know, kept that aside. So fast forward, you know, I graduate high school and then I go to college. I graduated high school in 2011. Shout out to the class of 11, okay? Don't come for me. If y'all watching and y'all be like, oh, she's young, she's a baby. I'm almost 30, okay? I'll be 29. And I feel like class of 2011, like this is our season, you know what I'm saying? Because we approaching 30. But anywho, don't want to get too far off topic. I graduated high school and then I went to college. So I was so excited to leave home and go off to college. I didn't want to go too far. I think my school was like 2 hours away because at the time I was living in Columbia, South Carolina, and I went to Coastal Carolina University, which is in Conway near Myrtle Beach. So that was about 2 hours away. So I was, you know, far enough away from home to where I could feel like I could be myself and, you know, start exploring myself and, you know, finding out, you know, if this is something that I was just, you know, feeling as a child, and, you know, maybe I grew out of it. You know, it was just something that I looked forward to exploring. Without having to feel like I was, you know, up under my mom's nose or anything like that. But I went to Coastal for a year, and during that year, I had, I guess, secret girl boos. And then I also started dating a girl for the first time, like a full, like actual full-blown relationship. Like, yes, I talked to girls when I was younger, but I honestly would not classify that as like full-blown relationships, because it was always something that was kept secret. And to me, I don't feel like that you could be in like a real relationship when it's something that is a secret that you have to hide. You can't really talk to that person like you want to talk to them. So that was when I got like my first like actual female that I would classify that I was in like a relationship with. And like I said, I have dated guys throughout my teenage years and things like that. I have been intimate with men, like it's not a secret. I'm not a gold star lesbian, but I mean, I don't think that you know, makes you any less of what you identify as, if I'm saying that. If I'm just being real, like I'm just being honest, I'm grown, I have nothing to lie about. But yes, I have been intimate with men and I have had boyfriends. Yes, it happened. So around this time, I'm like 18, 19, and you know, just still exploring, like nothing too heavy, major, serious or anything like that. Some of the girls that, most of the girls that I either talked to or flirted with or dating with at the time were straight. And I feel like it was easy because I was obviously, you know, I'm a feminine lesbian woman, but I guess it's easier to flirt with, you know, your homegirls or other girls that are feminine. But I was attracted to any, how should I say this? I was attracted to women, period. Whether that be stud, stem, femme. If y'all don't know these terms, Google them. I'm not gonna go into depth because there's so many like blurred lines, and I know a lot of people don't even like to have, you know, those titles. It's just whatever clothing that you feel like wearing. But regardless of your clothing, regardless of like your style, like I was into that. I was attracted to that. And at the time, it was just very feminine women. So I was only at Coastal for a year, like I said, you know, had my experiences and whatnot, but ultimately like open out to the world, my family, my mom, and everything, I was in the closet. So I leave Coastal. Meanwhile, my mom had moved from Columbia, South Carolina to Virginia for a job while I was at Coastal. So when I, you know, left school, I basically packed up my entire dorm room. I won't really go into the specifics, but just know it was a sad moment. But packed up all my things in my little Ford Focus, and I drove myself to Virginia. So now I'm in Virginia, and it is very, if you know anything about the DMV, it's nothing like the South. Especially back then, there was a bigger and more accepting of environment of the LGBTQ plus community. And I met a lot of friends that were, you know, very open about their sexuality and, you know, were my age and were, you know, comfortable in that and, you know, living their truth and everything like that. So I'm still, mind you, in the midst of me moving from South Carolina to Virginia, I was still talking to a girl long distance. The girl that I was talking to was a stud. It was long distance. And eventually we died off and stopped talking. I mean, we were young. It was long distance. I mean, it was only gonna last but so long, right? But I'm I'm feeling more comfortable because for one, I'm in a different place, but I'm still, you know, I moved back in with my mom. I'm living with my mom, so I'm still like, you know, this is something that at that point, I was starting to get to that point where it's like, you know, you have a soda can and you shake it up and like all the bubbles that are, you know, all the carbonation and everything is popping up. Like that was how I was starting to feel. I was starting to feel like I was hiding like super big parts of my life. I was starting to feel like uncomfortable, you know, still talking to men, but not really being super, I guess, into it. And I just was tired. I was just sick of it. Like I was sick of the lies, sick of the facade, sick of the everything, okay? And it was starting to really eat away at me on the inside. At that time, I was going through a very weird mental space because I was feeling a lot of like regret, and I was feeling like a failure at the time because I left school and, you know, all my friends were still in school. So I was in that place where I was like, dang, what am I gonna do with my life? Like I was feeling really down about myself. And then on top of that, on the inside, I'm just holding in like this big secret. So for someone who's 18, 19 years old, you know, that's heavy. That's like heavy life stuff. So for a while, I definitely was in like a depressive state and like trying to just figure out like what it is that I want to do, you know, school-wise, career-wise, but I'm also holding in the secret. So fast forward, I met my girlfriend at the time. I met her friends and everything, and I was like, you know what, like I'm doing this because there's no way that I'm going to, you know, pass up a person that I'm interested in. Like I'm an adult at this point. Like I can't not, you know, live in my truth and do what's gonna make me happy. So I'm like, if I could just tell my mom, like I feel like I'd be free. If you listen to any of my story times or me talking about myself, and you knew when I grew up, it was just my mom, my sister, and I. And so I felt like if I could just tell my mom, because I think I had already told my best friend at the time, and she was like, girl, like that's okay. Like what do you mean? Like I don't care, like I still love you, blah blah blah. So I had that support, and I kept telling her like I really want to tell her. Like I literally would get sick to my stomach thinking about it so much that I wanted to tell my mom, and I wanted to be open, and I wanted to have, you know, a conversation, just because I felt like I was, you know, not being myself. And if you've ever, you know, suppressed something about yourself, it doesn't have to be, you know, your sexual preference, but just anything period. Like it kind of eats at you because it's something that you are really, you know, something that's really a part of you. So I was telling my best friend, I was like, look, I'm gonna tell her, I have to tell her, like I can't, you know, live in secrecy forever. It was getting so bad to the point where I would, because I was in the basement. If y'all know what a row house is, it's basically like a three-story townhome. In the DMV, they call them row houses. So I was in the basement, living in my mom's basement at the time. It was like my own like mini apartment type thing. So, you know, I had a lot of privacy down there. But I would go up the stairs from the basement to like the first floor and go up the next flight of stairs up to the third floor, or the second floor, I guess technically. And I would be pacing outside my mom's room because I'm just like,
oh my God, like I want to tell her, I need to tell her, oh my gosh.
And there was times where my mom caught me doing that, and she'd be like, you know, are you okay? Like, do you need to talk? And I just be like, oh no, or like just make up something on the spot, because in that moment I would freeze up and I would feel like,
oh my God, she's gonna kill me, she's gonna kick me out, like it's not gonna be good,
right? But mind you, when I was moving, I missed this in the story, and I'm sorry I'm all over the place. I don't think I'm really good at like the story time sit down chit chats because I be going off on tangents, okay? But in the midst of me moving, the girl that I told y'all that I was talking to long distance, my mom knew that she was my friend, you know, and she was a stud. So I guess like the amount of time that I put into, you know, still communicating with her and talking to her, like my mom probably already put 2 and 2 together in her head, which at the time to me, I was not really thinking it that way. I was just, you know, putting it off that this was my friend. But we talked on the phone all the time. She even talked to my mom on the phone sometimes, and my mom would be joking and whatever with her as my friend. Right? So it just got to a point where I was like, I cannot do this anymore. And especially because I had just met somebody that lived in my city, and I wanted to be around them, and I wanted to be able to bring, you know, her around my home and everything like that. Like, I wanted to just have like a normal relationship, basically. So I was in cosmetology school at the time. I don't know if you guys know that, but once upon a time I went to cosmetology school, and my mom had texted me during the day. It was like a random day, and she was like, you want to go out to eat tonight? And I was like, yeah. At that time I was broke, so anytime that like there was an opportunity for me to go out to eat, like my mom offered to go, yes, I want to go. Okay, I'm trying to go because I need it. So my mom told me what time to meet her at Outback Steakhouse. That's where we went at the time, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna pull up after cosmetology school. My mom went to go pick my sister up from school, and we all met there, right? So I don't know what came over me in that moment, but that was the day. In that moment, when I woke up that morning, I did not know that I was gonna tell my mom. I didn't know, like, that wasn't a thought that crossed my mind. When I was sitting in the car waiting for my mom to pull up, I was like, I'm going to tell her. I feel like I need to tell her. Like, it's on my heart heavy, it's on my mind heavy, but I really need to get this off my chest. I felt like that I had committed a crime and just was waiting for, like, you know, ducking and dodging, you know what I'm saying? But I made a decision like in that moment. So we get into the restaurant, we sit down, and my sister is we're sitting in a booth. My mom is across from my sister and my sister is sitting on the inside of the booth. So, and mind you, my sister already knows. I told her, and I think I told her that I wanted to tell our mom, but I can't remember if she was telling me not to say anything or to say something or whatever, but she knew already. So after we had ordered our food, you know, we had our drinks and whatnot. So after we ordered our food, we were sitting there waiting, and we were just chit-chatting and whatever, and it was like a moment where nobody was talking, and I was like, Mommy, I want to talk to you about something. And I don't know if this was just like a sibling thing, but my sister knew exactly what I wanted to talk to her about in that moment, because the first thing she said was like, I need to go to the bathroom. I don't want to be here for this. She literally said that. I mean, that's something that you probably would think in your head, but she said it out loud. She was like, yeah. And then my mom was like, what you want to talk about? Like, what is it that you want to talk about? Like, hello? Because that was a key, like an aha moment. Like, this must be something serious, because, you know, she was trying to get up from the table. My sister was trying to get up from the table. So I said the girl at the time's name, and I was like, such and such is, you know, not just my friend. You know, I like her more than a friend. We are dating, basically. And my mom, she said, oh, I know, I figured that. And I was like, and I was like, at the time I tried to like put a little frosting on top, and I was like, you know, I don't like all girls, I just like her. I feel like a lot of people do that. They'd be like, yeah, I just like this person, but meanwhile, child. But I was like, yeah, I just kind of played it off like, yeah, I just like her, blase, and it was so funny because I had all this, these butterflies in my stomach. You know, I was feeling like sick, like nauseous, like really, really nervous. And I was so pleasantly surprised at the fact that my mom, she told me, she was like, you know, I feel like I've known for a while, or I feel like I've known for a little while, but I still love you. And that I still love you, I could have cried in that moment. Like, the inside of me felt like fireworks were going off. Like, it felt like such a release. Like, it felt so, like, I don't know, like, I felt like I started transforming in that moment. I was like, this is such a comforting feeling to be able to, you know, go to my parent and tell her this. Mind you, remember, I'm not in high school anymore. Even though I'm living under my mom's roof, I am an adult. So worst case scenario, I was like, you know, I'm grown. You know, if she doesn't want me to be in her household anymore, at least I'm an adult and I could, you know, figure out a way to get myself together if that were to happen. But I believe that it was the close-knitness of us three, only, you know, growing up together, my mom, my sister, and I, that no matter what, my mom knew and realized, like, I want to be in my child's life regardless. And I love my child. And to this day, I don't have any children. So I feel like I can't comment on it, but I'm going to comment on it anyway. I don't understand parents who disown their children because of their sexuality. I don't know how you can raise someone, birth someone, you know, nurse someone in, you know, sickness and in health, and have all these experiences with them as their parent and disown them because of their sexual orientation. I don't know. I can't wrap my brain around it. I have friends whose parents still to this day don't like it, don't want to know about it, don't whatever. Like, they may still be in contact with their parents, they may not, but yeah, I have seen it be tough for friends, and I'm so blessed and grateful that, you know, I didn't have to go through that. I would never want anybody to have to experience feeling like, you know, who they are is wrong, or, you know, they're a bad person for just being who they are. And I was so grateful for that. I feel like in that moment, I was like, oh my goodness, like I said, I could have cried. So we basically, after that, we just went on about dinner. Like, it was like smooth, it was a breeze, and I was like, my heart was jumping, I was so excited and everything. As soon as we got home, I had like ran and like jumped on the bed, kicked my feet up, and I called my best friend, and I was like, girl, guess what? I told her, I was like, I feel so good, I feel so free, I feel like, you know, I could finally be myself. Because in that moment, like I said, it felt like fireworks went off. It felt like a release. It felt like I finally cracked the top on that soda can. Like, it felt like I finally, you know, was able to take a deep breath, or, you know, exhale, for after so long, after holding it in and like feeling really like just sick to my stomach about it. The fact that I couldn't, you know, be myself, and the fact that I was holding that back from my mom. So I didn't necessarily come out to any more family members. My mom was my main goal. I told myself, I was like, if my mom cool with it, I don't need nobody else's approval. I mean, technically I didn't need my mom's approval, but it just felt good that she, you know, supported me and let me know that I, you know, was still loved. The rest of my family members, granted, they are all cool with it, because there are several people in my family that are part of the LGBTQ community. I have cousins, you know, it's not a big thing in my family. But I was feeling very, very, you know, blessed. I was feeling, you know, loved, because I knew that that situation could have went left. And I think that's probably why I chose to do it at the restaurant, because I'm like, you know, she can't kill me in public. But I mean, if she really wanted to, she probably could. But she didn't. So thank goodness she did not. But she, you know, let my other family members know and whatever, and I just let their reaction be their reaction, because I wasn't the one that told them. I feel like my mom probably had like some adverse reactions from some people, but she I mean, she held it down. Like, she was like, okay, like, what? Like, not my daughter? What? Like, you know, she definitely made it so that I felt comfortable, and no matter what, you know, my happiness and her knowing that, or me knowing that she loved me, was most important to her. So I thank you, mommy, if you are watching. I love you so very much. Thank you for your support in that, because in that very moment, it was a lot for me. It was a whole lot. So after that, I, you know, like I said, I had just gotten into a brand new relationship. I started posting my girlfriend at the time. you know, I just started doing me. And the rest is history. You know, I started doing me out in the open, and it felt good to be free and just to know that, you know, I didn't have to feel less than, and I didn't have to hide, you know, who I was. I don't think that, you know, straight people understand the magnitude, you know, mentally and emotionally that it takes on you when you feel like what you're doing is wrong. You know, if somebody calls you an abomination, or, you know, they say that's like the worst sin of all, like of all these nasty things, feeling like, you know, people in the LGBTQ community can't get married, can't have kids, you know, can't have a normal functioning life. Like, that is very heavy. And I feel like people outside of the community are always, they're always feeling like we're too loud. The community is too loud, but it's the same thing with, like, you know, anybody that would be discriminated against for race, for example. How can you minimize the way somebody feels being discriminated against for their sexuality, something that is a part of their everyday life, something that is going to be a part of their future life, you know, something that will forever be a part of their life? Like, how can you tell a person that, you know, they're doing too much, or they're, you know, oh, okay, we get it. Like, you know, some people probably dread June because they hate seeing the rainbows everywhere. They hate seeing the signs. They hate the parades, the everything. And might I add, if you have a friend that's part of the LGBTQ community, we normally the life of the party, okay? My wife is more so always the life of the party, but anywho, I feel like people feel like that we are too loud about it, and it is because it is such a big thing. Like, if you are a straight woman or a straight male, imagine you growing up in a world where being lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, pansexual, all those things were the norm, and you being straight was, you know, taboo. Like, how would you feel being told that you couldn't date the person that you wanted to date, or couldn't marry the person that you wanted to marry? Like, that would hurt you deep to your core. So whenever you see people, you know, protesting, or whenever you see the pride parades, or whenever you see people that are walking around, you know, with their rainbow gear, okay, or, you know, they pride propaganda, you see everything on, you know, social media and everything. Hey, if you don't like it, keep scrolling, unfollow that person, just don't participate. Like, if you know that a pride parade is going on this side of the city, well, how about you take your ass on that side of the city for the day? I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but at the end of the day, I feel like, you know, gay rights are human rights. You know what I'm saying? We are people, we are humans, and we're gonna live our life the way we want to live our life. It doesn't affect you directly, it doesn't affect anyone directly, so just let us be happy. All right, my shirt says proud, okay? Proud. Anytime I'm on the phone with somebody, or I'm doing some type of business, or, you know, somewhere where I have to fill out some type of paperwork, or have to talk about any, like, customer service or anything, and it's something that, you know, I have to mention my spouse or say anything, they'd be like, okay, so your husband, blah, blah. I'd be like, no, my wife. My wife's name is such and such, this is her information, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry. And it's never to be, you know, rude or snappy. I just like to correct it because, for one, I'm not just gonna, you know, talk to a person and let them imagine in their head that I'm, you know, dating a man, or, you know, married to a man or whatever, because that's, I mean, it's just not true. I mean, what, I'm supposed to just let the person sit there and say that? You know, I don't feel like I'm doing too much in saying that. I feel like the person on the other end of the line, it'll teach them or bring to the forefront to maybe use other terms like, okay, so does your spouse such and such? You know what I'm saying? Does your partner such and, you know, what's your partner? Like, use the terms partner and spouse. You could be on the phone with anybody and you don't know who they're married to, what gender they're married to, or anything like that. So, I mean, I like to use those terms, partner, spouse, when somebody doesn't know or they're not sure, or, you know, if somebody says anything and uses the term husband, I just, you know, simply correct them, you know, no, my wife, and boom, move on. But anywho, I don't want to make this video too long. That's pretty much the gist of me coming out. I know that this video can help someone. Even in today's age, in 2022, there are still people that feel like that they would be better off dead than living in their truth, being their authentic self. And it's because of the way that family, friends, or the world has treated them because of the way that they chose to identify, or their, you know, sexual orientation, or their gender, or anything for that matter, you know, the clothes that they decide to wear, you know, anything for that matter. There are still people today who feel that way, who feel so, you know, lost and alone. And I feel like sharing my story, granted, it's not as, you know, tumultuous or significantly emotional, traumatic event that happened in my life. I'm grateful for that every day. You know, that I was able to wait until I was an adult, and then I also just have that acceptance from my mom and, you know, my close friends at the time. That meant a lot to me. But not everybody has that type of support system. So I feel like me sharing my story will, you know, help maybe motivate somebody or give somebody that comfort, or, you know, just to remind you that, you know, you aren't the only person that did this. It definitely is hard for some people, but it makes people feel good to know that there are other people that were in their shoes at one point that were feeling the same things that they did or do right now in this moment. And I just felt like that I wanted to share that. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all for this video. If you liked it, please make sure that you give this video a big thumbs up. Do not forget to leave me a comment down below, and also do not forget to hit that subscribe button. Turn on your post bell notifications so that you do not miss another video. And also do not forget to follow me on Instagram at _Kee Samone. And yes, see y'all in the next one.